Hey, this is Tom and I got a jam-packed video for you today. A lot to talk about. Cathie Wood and ARK Invest dumping Palantir shares. Why are they doing this? Is this FUD? Is this real? Is this the end of the beautiful friendship that is Palantir and ARK Invest? They just sold 2 million shares of Palantir over the past 24 hours. Is this the end? Also, Nancy Pelosi is going against disallowing politicians trading in the stock market, even though they do have access to private information. No surprise there. I'll talk about that. Also, Elizabeth Warren took some shots at Elon, but she didn't expect the dude to turn into Tyson Fury and KO that mother lover. He doesn't need a lot. He just needed a few characters and it was a TKO. Also, I want to talk about what just happened. Yesterday, we had the Jerome Powell press conference and he came up with a new technique called Dodge, Deny, Deflect, the DDD. I'm going to talk about that and why the stock market rallied yesterday and is still rallying today following that press conference, even though they actually announced raise of interest and increased tapering. So what the hell is going on? Is this a crazy market or it actually makes sense? So let's start with Palantir. So is this factually true? Did ARK Invest dump 2 million shares of Palantir over the past day? Yes, 100% true, factually correct. However, as you know, FUD is always based on some sort of a truth mixed in with a lot of lies, which is exactly what we have here. And the best way to basically get rid of the lies is expose them to sunlight. That's as simple as that. Let's just use some facts. So it is true, ARK Invest, RK and ARKW sold in aggregate 2.1 million shares. Boo-hoo. Here's the problem. When you look at the data, it's not really a big deal because Palantir is still the number 15 holding in the ARK Invest funds. Nothing has changed. Now, check this out. You also have to understand what this 2 million means. If Cathie Wood had 5 million shares in her funds and she sold 2 million, well, that's a huge deal. But what if she has 30 million plus shares in her funds? Is 2 million a big deal? Which is, by the way, exactly what we have right now. Cathie Wood has 23.6 million shares of Palantir just in RK alone, and another 4 million in ARKW, and a few other shares in other funds, totaling 32 million shares of Palantir. So the lady has 32 million shares of Palantir after the sale. So her selling from 34 to 32, it sounds like a lot of adjusting in an ETF, not a huge deal. Now here's some more facts. On August, Cathie Wood held 26 million shares of Palantir. Right now, 4 months later, we're at 32 million. That's a 23% increase in Palantir holdings over the past 4 months. So basically, hold my vodka, this is how you kill a FUD in 30 seconds. Nancy Pelosi, House Speaker, is actually going against an initiative to limit, ban, or completely make it illegal for politicians to trade freely in the stock market. Because, they kind of have access to private information about the market most of us don't have, It's kind of a legal form of insider trading. They have insider trading right at the palm of their hands, but it's still legal because it's not private information about the company. It's private information about the market. That's fine. That makes it all okay. It's like a general selling his entire portfolio before going to war against some country. I mean, that's fair, right? My goodness. So basically, what we have here is not a lot of surprises. Nancy Pelosi and her husband want to keep partying at our expense. We don't know what they know. So I have a suggestion. Either you tell us everything you know about the market, everything about the economy, the interest rates, every little conversation you have in those corridors, let it known, let it be public, or you don't get to participate because you're playing in a rigged game. And now, even though you already made a lot of money and you're a millionaire, you're getting annoyed because we want to have a level playing field. You don't like that. Surprise, surprise. Let's talk about Elizabeth Warren. She just tweeted basically saying it's time to fix the rigged tax code so that the rich people stop freeloading on us and pay their actual taxes. Now, Elizabeth Warren is basically a politician, which is a freeloader by definition. A politician is a freeloader living at my expense, doing pretty much nothing, but steal from me as a plain citizen. So she's complaining that Elon Musk is basically freeloading on the rest of us. And I found it really annoying because this is the guy who literally changed the auto industry, sending us to Mars and allowing people with disabilities to actually walk again. It's sci-fi. We literally have this heartwarming story today on Twitter. A guy basically paralyzed from the shoulders down, talking about how he wants to sign up for the Neuralink testing. And Elon basically telling him, hey, we'll probably start testing next year. So this is the guy who's freeloading on the rest of us. Right. Get it. So what's really going on here? So Elizabeth Warren and RWB is essentially trying to pick up cheap-ass brownie PR points, basically using this billionaire hate in order to basically ram Elon. Only problem is that Elon is not an idiot, and as she found out, he can TKO that mother lover in a heartbeat. Essentially, he just replied saying, hey, just so you know, I'm actually going to pay the highest tax bill in history this year. And so far, that tax bill is about $6.5 billion. By the end of the year, or by the time he sells all of his stock this year, or next year is going to spill over probably to 2022 a little bit, it's going to be a $13 billion tax for the latest sales he just did. So pretty much her argument is in the toilet. And I absolutely love how this thing just played out. She tried to scoop up cheap brownie points, like one of those Twitter posts when you try to pick up cheap likes. Caesar from the dog whisper, like, sit back down. Love how Elon handles politicians. Beautiful. Now let's talk about what happened with Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell went on TV yesterday and for the first time ever did not crash the stock market. Now, I admit I was wrong. I thought he'd crash it because I thought that at this point he has no choice because, we're in such bad shape. He has to announce serious interest rate hikes. He doesn't have any choice. And I thought that he knows that, and that's why he's not going to try to play the kick the can down the road game again. And yet, he chose, surprise, surprise, the latter. So let me explain in simple English with a simple example of what just happened yesterday and why the stock market is rallying even today. They're still on that dopamine rush from yesterday. So basically what we have here is a parent coming home late with the kids. The kids are hungry, they're tired, they're naggy. He doesn't want to cook dinner. So he just throws every kid a piece of huge 5 chocolate bars. The kids eat the chocolate bar. They're happy. Daddy, we love you. You're the best dad ever. Wow. They're running around in circles for 3 hours. The dad gets to rest. Everything is beautiful. Is that great parenting? Probably not. But that is exactly what Jerome Powell did yesterday. Is that good policy making? No. And unfortunately, yesterday, that's exactly what happened. Jerome Powell came out and did the bare minimum just to give the kid the chocolate bar so he just, goes to bed. Long term, tooth decay, probably very unhealthy for the kid. Basically, the market is loving it. Minimal interest rate hikes and, as expected, a slowdown in taper instead of completely going all out and raising to 3%. Now, is this good long term? Probably not, but he avoided the crash and I was wrong. I thought yesterday that we're going to crash. I actually made a video saying, hey, we're going to crash. We didn't. So long term, I think we're about to head into massive inflation. And as most of you will find out, really horrible inflation is probably even worse than the stock market crashing in the short term, but let's see what happens. As always, if you want to join our community on Patreon, it's $5 per month and you'll be supporting the channel. The link is below. If you're a channel member or a Patreon, thank you so much. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. We'll see you tomorrow.